Hello everyone. Whether we work, go to school, or play sports, we have all been a part of a team at some point or the other. Some of these teams may have been fun, effective, and successful while others would have been stressful, ineffective, or taxing. While many teams work well together, true success comes from being on a team that is cohesive. Stuart Butterfield, the CEO of team messaging app, Slack, said that you can take a team of absolute all-stars in terms of their native abilities, but if they are not working together, they are less effective than a team where there is lesser native ability but a higher degree of teamwork and cohesion. Cohesion is so important while working together that it is imperative to dedicate an entire course to it. We have the professor with us, who will guide us through this course, and we are also joined by the invigilator, who will test our knowledge at the end of every section.
Hello, it is certainly a pleasure to be here. Getting a chance to discuss one of the most underrated topics in a professional setting certainly excites me. I cannot wait to get started.
Thank you for the welcome. I would recommend all of you to pay close attention to everything being discussed to answer my questions carefully.
Professor, would you like to begin by telling us what cohesion is?
Well, my simple answer would be that cohesion is the binding force that ensures the involvement of everyone in the right direction for the achievement of an immediate or long-term goal. It also ensures that the team members desire to be a part of the team and that their unity does not fall apart. But, before I talk about cohesion in detail, do you know how teams are formed?
People meeting and working together on a task or a project. Isn't that what makes a team?
The conception of teams precedes workspaces, businesses, politics, economy, etc. Our main emphasis throughout the course will be on the teams performing in a workplace. Cohesion being ubiquitous makes the discussion inclusive of all levels at any organization. According to Bruce Tuckman, who was an American psychological researcher, said that team formation happens in 5 phases. These stages persist from the formation of the team until the achievement of the goal. The foremost stage is when the team has just been formed. Team members try to get to know each other and form basic conceptions while also being highly dependent on their leaders for instructions. Most of the focus is on the overall objectives or goals, and ground rules other than the technical details. The individual roles are mostly unclear. For example, in a school project when you have not been assigned to your friends group. Working with new project mates requires you to figure them out from the very basics. The next stage is storming. In this stage, the focus moves to the tasks at hand. Shifting to a narrower focus and realization of differences among the members leads to washing off the initial excitement. Disagreements, expectations, roles, and responsibilities are openly discussed. The clarity of goals increases, but so does the team dynamics. Cliques and factions may be formed. Conflicts may also emerge. For example, after forming the school project team, all members put in their respective ideas to select the topic they wish to work on. A lot of disagreements may arise at this point. After storming, we have norming. Here, agreement replaces conflict, and this is where group cohesion begins. The roles and responsibilities are clearer. Decision-making is done through a consensus. An increase in commitment and unity opens the doors for team-building activities. The norms are set, and a team identity is built. Constructive criticism is welcomed. For example, once the topic is stormed enough, the team members develop an understanding of the goal and their respective roles in the team. Next we have performing. It is the amalgamation of the team identity with the designated goals where the team has a shared vision. Conflicts may still persist, but they are taken positively. The team requires lesser instructions and the problem-solving capabilities increase. The team members look out for each other and help each other in their quest to better themselves. Members understand that the team is greater than the sum of its parts. Here, progress is closely monitored and celebrated. For example, after the norms are set in the school project, team members start working on their respective roles. They realize that to finish the project they would have to play their role and help others as well in case the need arises. The last stage is adjourning, which was added to Tuckman's model in 1975. This stage is appropriate for teams that disband after the achievement of the goal, since this requires recognition and celebration. For example, once the project is submitted, team members move back to their respective scholastic journeys.
This is such a sequential way of group formation. I never realized that all these stages actually occur while groups are being formed.
You must keep in mind that these stages are not a straight road. All the stages may not always occur in the exact same manner. For example, storming and norming often overlap and might not be distinguishable. Since a workplace is a dynamic environment, where goals, roles, and deadlines rapidly tend to change. These stages may not align clearly in real-life scenarios. These stages, however, can give a slight insight into team dynamics, especially in a work-related, goal-oriented setting. Remember that Tuckman's theory is based on teams that are formed from scratch and which cease to exist once the goal is achieved.
Professor, from what I have gathered, cohesion is basically working well within a team. But isn't teamwork another word for that? Do they not mean the same thing?
The terms cohesion and teamwork are often used interchangeably. However, there are major differences that exist between the two. Starting from the scope of application, cohesion comes way ahead of teamwork. It deals with a broader area and is primary for success. Teamwork, however, is an element of cohesion and majorly deals with coordination. While cohesion extensively focuses on a bigger collective goal, teamwork does not keep goal fulfillment as a priority, and only deals with immediate matters at hand. Also in teamwork, interpersonal relationships are not at the center. It does attempt to avoid conflicts in order to maintain effective coordination. However, it does not always facilitate personal growth and productive social skills. Cohesion, on the other hand, is multidimensional in the sense that it aims at goal achievement, interpersonal harmony, collectiveness, and motivation.
But Professor, what do we really understand from this particular factor?
Let me tell you this. Back in 2006, Peter Skillman introduced the Marshmallow Challenge as a design-based team-building activity that soon became a popular practice in global business meetings. Skillman himself conducted it in different settings to gather some interesting and insightful results.
Professor, I would like to explain the challenge in detail to our learners. The goal is to build the tallest possible structure in 20 minutes using only 20 pieces of uncooked spaghetti, 1 meter of masking tape, 1 meter of string, and 1 standard-sized marshmallow. The rules are that you measure from the table to the top of the marshmallow, and that the structure must remain motionless without support for at least 3 seconds for the measurement to count. After running this with more than 2,000 people of various backgrounds, the highest performing group of all were actually kindergarteners.
Thank you for that. Allow me to tell you how it is that kindergarteners performed the best. They do not hold design or management degrees, nor have they been extensively trained to analyze a project, which might actually be the key to their success. Teamwork proves to be optimal when it is innate and is not based on workplace competition. The kindergarteners accept the situation as a collective group effort that does not divert their focus from the ultimate goal of placing the marshmallow at the tallest spaghetti structure that they can possibly make. This shows that cohesion in itself is an innate quality and can positively be cast through understanding, collective efforts, respect for co-members, and goal orientation. Skillman described his observations in the following manner. He said that kindergarteners do not spend 15 minutes deciding who is going to be the CEO of the Spaghetti Corporation. He pointed out that team success is about leaving your ego at the door, diving in with the wonder and selflessness of a kindergartner, and sharing your vulnerability. The teams that did not succeed were distracted by status transactions, wasting time in search of control and power instead of acting as a single team. Another thing that must be stressed upon is that kindergarteners do not treat the team-bound and competitive situation as a crisis. They are able to place the marshmallow on the top and then begin creating a prototype. As Widgets identifies it, what kindergarteners do differently is that they start with the marshmallow, and they build prototypes, by always keeping the marshmallow on the top, so they have multiple times to fix when they build prototypes along the way. Designers recognize this type of collaboration as the essence of the iterative process. With each version, these children get instant feedback about what works and what does not work. Kindergarteners co-work to apply a design-based process. This directs us to innate qualities of cohesion that we all possess and utilize them at the right time for great results. The interconnectivity and interaction-based survival methods are building blocks of nature and, therefore, are responsible for human-driven processes as well as work structures. In conclusion, the two things that kindergarteners demonstrate in the process are that team spirit is essential for great results, along with the fact that cohesion is an innate quality and must be correctly directed.
Well, Professor, I did not expect such results. You mentioned previously that we all possess cohesion and can utilize it for great results. But what happens if teams are not cohesive?
Cohesion plays an important role in the achievement of goals, and can severely affect a team with its absence. In some cases, the goal may not be affected but the performance and quality may be depleted. These unwanted scenarios can be avoided if teams are cohesive. Non-cohesive teams tend to face failure more often than teams that are cohesive. This might range from missing out on the overall goal, to missing out on smaller deadlines. All team members might be working to achieve the goal but the efforts will not be fruitful until they are directed cohesively. Without cohesion, team members might find it difficult to agree on ideas, strategies, policies, etc. Most disagreements are not instantly resolved and may lead to conflicts, dissatisfaction, and even faction. It is obvious that most decisions are subject to collective agreements, and without a strong ground of understanding, it may affect work-related engagements and even personal satisfaction levels. If disagreements and conflicts are not resolved efficiently, they may lead to a delay in decision-making. At the fundamental level, this occurs when meetings with a dedicated goal end with some sort of a disagreement and there are no concrete results to show. Every deadline that is missed adds to the delay in progress of the team towards the goal. 86% of employees and executives cite a lack of collaboration or ineffective communication for failures in the workplace. Often, non-cohesive teams are the ones that tend to miscommunicate. This is because the team members do not readily regard each other's opinions. This often forms the basis of disagreements and which results in delayed decision-making. Miscommunication may not only happen internally, but can also happen externally. Team members must agree on all ideas, without which the members who manage external communications may often miscommunicate the ideas, targets, motives, etc. Another consequence of a lack of cohesion is that team members often get diverted from the overall objective as day-to-day activities tend to become too exhausting. Any diversion from the focus leads to inconsistency. The team members tend to feel lethargic and spend more time debating and contemplating than working on the goal assigned. Without cooperation and coordination, the quality of work is also affected. Non-cohesive teams may achieve their goals, but the quality of work may not always be satisfactory. The quality is determined and ensured through collective effort. This means that each individual must perform their responsibilities effectively and efficiently. They must coordinate their efforts for constant quality checks. An important factor that must be accounted for is that the tasks that tend to take longer than usual take away the time for revisions, quality checks, and re-evaluations, reaffirming the need for individuals to coordinate their efforts.
So clearly there are quite a few drawbacks due to a lack of cohesion. It is very important for teams to be cohesive, but how and where is this skill applied in jobs? How do you suggest roles should be divided in any team? Should roles even be assigned, or is there a natural order that sort of emerges on its own when people work together? If so, what are the different roles that people play in teams to ensure the teams are being cohesive?
The manner in which work is divided in a team can vary, depending upon how well the team members know each other, as well as what degree of mutual understanding and technical competence the team portrays. I do not wish to put it as a definitive theory, but Meredith Belbin, in 1981, proposed a framework for the team roles to be based on three orientations: action, people, and thought. He described team roles as a tendency to behave, contribute and interrelate with others in a particular way. He then proposed 9 major team roles that enabled the progress of a team. An individual's team role is established through a self-perception inventory, which is a questionnaire that is focused on achieving a cohesive work environment. These can be further analyzed through observer assessments that serve as independent evidence for an individual's role. These assessments can be done online or via Belbin's book. Belbin has identified several roles. There are action-oriented roles. Action-oriented people get things done within a team, ensuring that deadlines are adhered to and goals are achieved. Then we have people-oriented roles. People-oriented team members are team players and coordinators who reach out to other people to explore opportunities, weed out conflict, and often serve as negotiators. Finally, we have thought-oriented roles. Thought-oriented people analyze and evaluate ideas brought in by others and find new unorthodox ways of doing things. People who are highly specialized in their fields or are experts in their respective domains also fall into this category.
So are these roles fixed? Also, does every team have these 9 kinds of people? Please tell us more about them.
No, that is certainly not the case. These roles are not fixed, and neither are these roles played by one person at a time. People are diverse, unique, and are definitely capable of playing more than one of these roles. So, the first type of action-oriented roles is shape. Shapers challenge people within a team. They can often be extroverted and may seem to enjoy discussions, challenging ideas, and active synthesis of situations. They thrive the most while facing obstacles, as they are able to shake all aspects of the ideas so that the team does not become complacent. Often their courage and excitement washes off on their team members, which provides a positive push. This can lead to arguments because they may come across as provocative to other individuals. These people might also hurt someone else's feelings in the process of self-driven decision-making. The next type of action-oriented people are implementers. These are people who get the job done. They transform ideas as well as thoughts to action plans, which are further transformed to practical actions. They can typically be conservative and tend to be quite disciplined and organized. Team workers often count on them to get things done. Their disciplined approach can render them being inflexible, and they might be resilient to changes sometimes. Action-oriented roles also include the role of a complete finisher. These are individuals who see whether the tasks are successfully completed or not. They tend to be detail-oriented, conscientious, painstaking, and anxious towards deadlines and goals. They understand the process as well as implementation, while they also keep a close eye on the details, search for errors and omissions, as well as aim for perfection in the task at hand. Their potential weakness is that at times they worry for no particular reason and find it difficult to delegate duties. Moving on to people-oriented roles, we have coordinators, team workers, and resource investigators. So coordinators can traditionally be designated team leaders. They are mature in their approach towards tackling problems while being confident and driven. They guide the team members towards the set objectives. They are also good listeners and are able to recognize what each person brings to the table. They clarify goals, promote collective decision-making, and delegate the work well. On the flip side, their position can sometimes give the impression that they delegate personal work and are also manipulative. The second kind are team workers. This type ensures that team members are working together in an effective way. They have good communication skills and serve as negotiators within the team. They are flexible, diplomatic, cooperative, and perceptive. They tend to be popular among their colleagues and promote cohesion in the workspace. The potential weakness they may have is that they can come across as indecisive in difficult situations and often maintain uncommitted positions during decision-making. Resource investigators are the third and final type of people-oriented roles. They explore opportunities, develop contacts, and negotiate potential resources for the team. They are enthusiastic, communicative, and extroverts. They are the people who identify and manage stakeholders, which requires them to incorporate an outgoing, negotiation-driven, and welcoming personality. Just as they project that enthusiasm, they may lose enthusiasm very quickly as well, and thus require motivation from time to time. These people are generally very social.
Professor, so the last type of people in a team setting are thought-oriented roles?
Yes. There are people in every team who are innovators, the kind who bring in new and creative ideas as well as approaches. They are creative, imaginative, and unorthodox. These individuals thrive on praise and appreciation. They tend to work best when they are alone and are usually introverted. Thought-oriented people tend to engage in problem-solving for the team. Meredith Belbin, an expert on team management, calls them plants. These people can find it hard to deal with criticism, while their ideas can often be more abstract than practical since they do not work with the team members to cater to their needs. They are also slightly weaker when it comes to communication. Monitor evaluators are considered to be their moral counterparts, who analyze and evaluate ideas brought in by others, often by plants. They are objective and focus on analyzing the pros and the cons of the ideas. They are sober, strategic, and discerning. These individuals tend to have judgments that are usually accurate and balanced in nature. They are also often perceived to be detached and unemotional, as they do not always motivate others. Finally, we have specialists, who are basically people with special knowledge related to getting a job done. They take pride in their skills and work extensively to hold their respective positions. They tend to be single-minded, self-starting, and dedicated. This lot is committed fully to their field of expertise, and there are times when they may have limited contribution, with their major focus being on technicalities instead of the bigger picture. This obviously is not true for all the cases, and as I said, all these potential weaknesses and stress points can vary from individual to individual.
So, Professor, you mean to say that people assume all these roles and responsibilities, but what is its significance? What do these roles show?
It is evident from this categorization that in a work environment, each member is extremely significant. Also, each one of them has their own potential weaknesses. The roles change with every situation, and an individual gets to don several caps in such cases.
Before you proceed to the next section, I would like to test all that you have learned so far. Try answering the following question.